Welcome. I'm Douglas of HT Ellsworth, and this is Dying to Retire. Join me on my candid journey from my government job to the freedom of retirement. As the last of the baby boomers, I'm hanging up my federal badge and diving into what comes next. I will talk about what led to my decision on why it's time for me to retire, what I did right, and what mistakes I have made. I am not an HR expert or a financial advisor, so I have made a few mistakes. This podcast is a safe space for non-woke people, and while I try to keep everything somewhat above board, if it has to be said bluntly, it will be. Vegas rules apply, so let's get started. Welcome back. I'm about 5 months away from retiring, and pretty much every day someone keeps asking me, how many more days do you have left? But we also have sidebar discussions or bitch sessions, however you want to call it, in which we're talking about, hey, are you going to miss this? Or aren't you going to miss this? Especially when we have shit thrown at us. Now, for today's episode, I'm going to go over the things I think or have been told I think I'm going to miss. And the list is not all mine. It's things that people have told me at work that they think I'm going to miss. The other part is things that I think I'm not going to miss. And like I said, we're 5 months out. What I plan to do 5 months into retirement, do an episode revalidating or relooking at this list and see what has changed, if anything at all. So let's get started. First up is a list of 10 different things that I have been told or I personally think I may miss from work after I retire. Now, again, like I said, this list isn't all mine. I'm going to read them off first, not in any necessary order, and then we're going to go over them. The first one's going to be that someone told me is you're going to miss the financial security. Second one was someone told me I'm going to miss the mental stimulation. Then I've been told, aren't you going to miss the structure and routine of going to work? Then the sense of purpose, accomplishment. Next up, social interaction, camaraderie at work. Now, this next couple are things that to me, and I've been told, are for people who are making higher income money earners. Variety and challenge, recognition and status, travel. And again, the reason why I said high income earners is not everyone gets the opportunity to travel. But do you get to travel domestically? Do you get to travel overseas? So travel, sense of identity, and lastly, learning and growth. All right, let's get started. Financial security, yes and no. The reason why is money's nice, but life is more than money. If I have enough to, as they say, and my financial advisor says, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, not an HR expert, none of that. If through my investments, my pensions, using a little cash that I have on hand, if I can bring the same amount net that I currently do net to be able to pay all my bills, is that all I really need? And like I've said before, my wife and I do plan to move to Latin America, Central America in particular, and being in there is a whole lot cheaper. Financial security, yes, I may miss it, but not as much as some people may, but me, not as much. Next up, mental stimulation. It's not a big yes, it's a little yes. And the mental stimulation, I would rather get mental stimulation from talking to you all, hearing from you what your lists are, what you think. So please put your comments below. Say something. What do you think you're going to miss or not miss? But the mental stimulation. I've been doing my job for about 20 years for what I'm doing in the federal government. And it's wash, rinse, repeat. It's always the same stuff. Add a little flavor to it, a little pepper, a little hot sauce, but it's still the same shit every day. So mental stimulation, yes, but sometimes the mental stimulation of dealing with assholes is not the mental stimulation I wanted or need. Structure and routine. That one's kind of interesting to me because I am former military, a former jarhead. And yes, I say former because I'm not running 3 miles in 15 minutes like I did back in the day. When I was 18 years old, I can run 3 miles in 15 minutes. I ain't doing that shit no more. Don't ask me to do 20 pull-ups. And since they got rid of the Kemp, I'm screwed, right? And sit-ups, yeah, not with this stomach. Okay, I don't have the abs for it. In fact, I got double tree abs. So structure and routine. It's kind of interesting on there. I would miss the structure, but I already have that structure in me. I would rather get up in the morning to write and talk to y'all than go to work, what I'm doing there. So structure and routine, would I miss it? Not really. How about you? What would y'all miss? Next, sense of purpose and accomplishment. Sense of purpose and accomplishment. A little bit. It was nice when we were able to get a lot of stuff done. But I'm going to tell you, I grew up not necessarily a farm kid, but living next to farms. So, next to my grandparents' farm or on my dad's side. And we helped out on the farm and helped out a neighbor who did haying season and all this other stuff. What was interesting for us is at the end of the day, you could see what you did. When you farmed, mowed the back 40, baled hay, did all that, milked the cows, shoveled the shit out of the cow, out from under the cows, put it out like that, move the sheep. Sheep are disgusting animals. They look really cute, but they're not. Pigs are a whole lot cleaner. And also sheep are stupid. Anybody on a farm can back me up on that one. Sense of purpose and accomplishment. I don't get that from work because you're moving a whole lot of paper. Now, I'll talk about more stuff after retire and I'll be able to. But when you're moving paper back and forth, what did you really accomplish? I wrote a paper. I wrote something. I wrote a memo and oh, this is going to be the new reg. No, it's not. It's got to go through everybody else in the world to get approval from different agencies. It's not a reg. I wrote a proposal. So sense of purpose, not really. Next up, social interaction, camaraderie. In a way, and this is where I'm going to put it and say right here, and I'm going to, if I deviate, apologies. A lot of people talk about their work friends, and you'll see a lot on the internet talking about work friends. Are they really your friends, or are they just coworkers that you get along really well with? Now, for me, I have less than 5 people that from work I consider really good friends. What I mean by really good friends, if I won the multi lotto, cross your fingers, hope I do. If I had that multi-million, the $1 billion lotto, and it came in, these would be the friends I would make sure they were taken care of as well. I would fight with my wife and say, I'm going to make sure because they're almost family to me, but only with a select few of people. So that's there. Now, getting into the stuff that was considered for the high earners, people who are making really good money, variety and challenge. Would I miss it? No, because I have a plan in my retirement. This podcast and doing other things would be my variety and challenge. So I would not miss it from work because my new adventure would have it. But what about you? Would you miss it? And going back one, would you miss the camaraderie? Let me know. Recognition and status. No, because I would rather be the person pulling the strings than the person in front of everything. And it's just the way I am. And I'm going to say this one right here. And this is about a lot of federal employees, especially the seniors. They live on recognition and status. When they quit, they're unable to go to the private sector and do work because this is one of the biggest things that they don't have. They'll get it for a little bit at the new job, but they're a Rolodex hire more than a Rolex hire. And to understand that, a Rolodex hire is someone you just hiring them because who they know, but that's perishable over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, those people that they know in senior leadership eventually retire as well. So they don't have the wasta you need to be in there. A Rolex hire is that person who's going to be the ultimate salesperson, the ultimate whatever you need them to be. Is going to be gold. So recognition and status for me, no, that's never been something I've been going after. Travel. Do I miss the travel? No. I don't miss traveling economy in 12, 14-hour flights. I don't miss any of that stuff. I don't miss driving 200 miles to go do a briefing and then I drive back and then fighting to get my mileage in the car. And that's my personal opinion. Sense of identity. And it goes back to the status. No, my job is not my identity. And next, learning and growth. Do I miss it from the workplace? No. Will I continue it in my retirement? Yes. So like we said, and I'd like to hear from y'all. Like I said, financial security. What are your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Will you miss mental stimulation that work gives you? Will you miss the structure and routine of the workplace? Will you miss the sense of purpose or accomplishment your workplace may give you? Will you miss the social interaction and camaraderie from your workplace? Will you miss the variety and challenge, the recognition and status, travel, sense of identity, and learning and growth? You heard mine. What are yours? Next, let's chat about the things I know or I think I know I won't miss. All right, let's go over this list. And I really only have 5. And because there's too many recurring themes when talking to people, and for myself, I had to narrow it down. And again, I like to hear from you. First up, early mornings, stress and deadlines, long commutes, unfulfilling work, lack of control. So let's go through the list. Early mornings. I am an early morning person, but I want to be able to sleep into 6. I get up at 3 every morning, if not earlier. I'm on the road for 45 minutes, and that's going to go to the next or one couple down when we talk about commutes. I want to be able to sleep in. I don't want to be on the road early in the morning unless I have to, unless I want to. Unless I was going to the golf course, and I don't fucking golf. Getting up early in the morning, I will not miss that one freaking iota. So this is a 10 for 10 if you're scoring it, things I am not going to miss. Next is stress and deadlines. No one's shooting at me at work, at least not today. I work in an office, I'm sure some of y'all do too. Stress and deadlines. Will I miss? I know I will not miss those. So that's a 10 for 10. I don't like the work stress and I don't like the deadlines. And I've talked about it before about stress. Needless deadlines for stupid shit. And 99% of the deadlines I've seen are artificial or they're self inflicted. So, no, this is right. I will not miss the stress and work deadlines. And we just covered it a little bit. Long commutes. What's funny is my drive is 20 miles, but in the morning it's 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And again, like I said, that's driving out at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's still 30, 45 minutes. Coming home, if I don't leave before 2, and I don't because I have to work until 3 or 4 or 5, this is the DC Beltway. I have to cross the Legion Bridge. It's an hour minimum on a good day. But going home, if there's an accident or God forbid, the president's on the Beltway or something on that being moved around, that's hours. That's 2, 3, 4 hours. The most I've been on there is 8 hours to do 20 miles. That's Snowmageddon, but it's still terrible. So I am definitely, that's a 10 for 10. I'm not going to miss. How about you? Don't think so. So that's a 10 for 10. Next up, unfulfilling work. I know I'm not going to miss it because, like I said, this stuff is artificial half the time in my optics, not everyone's. But yeah, unfulfilling work, yes, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it one iota. And last, I'm not going to miss having lack of control due to bad bosses and micromanagers. Did a whole freaking thing episode on it. This is one of the number one reasons why people quietly quit. This is one of the number one reasons I've seen in the workplace recently of why people are retiring, especially when they still can keep working, but they want to retire when they can. So that's my thoughts on them. So I want to hear yours. When you guys retire, are you going to miss going to work early in the morning or not miss it? Sorry. Are you not going to miss the stress and deadlines? Are you going to not miss long commutes? It's not the miles. It's how long you're on the freaking highway. I lose a minimum of 10 hours a week. What about you guys? I know there's people who are driving further than I do to go to work. Not going to miss it at all. Unfulfilling work. What about you? Do any of you like doing unfulfilling work? Don't think so. And lastly, how many of y'all like having lack of control, having bad bosses, and being under a micromanager? Don't think so. So definitely, are you going to miss it or you don't think you're going to miss that shit? That's it for today. Curious, concerned, or just want to chat? I'm all ears. Reach out at dyingtoretirepodcast@gmail.com. And if you find yourself nodding along or you just enjoy the ride, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hasta luego.